Shalom, it's a great schus for me to be able to share a little bit of my experience in making kosher wines in Europe. By the Seder we say, and we lift up the cup. What happens with Dafka? Lift up the cup by V'hisha Omda. So, the Ohr Chaim says that b'chol der v'der, the Goyim want to cause trouble to Eden, but they have two drachim. It can be through gzeiros of lahashmid, la'argud, la'abed, and it can also be through intermarriage. Adarabah, be mekar of the Eden, will be with them. He says that's why we say by Hallel, Ona Hashem Oishiano, Ona Hashem Atzlichano. We need to daven for two different nekudas that we have to daven for. One is Ona Hashem Oishiano from the gzeiros of Lashmid, La'argud, La'abed, and also from the from when it doesn't look like a gzeira, when they want to be mekar of us. So he says Chazal and Saken, we shouldn't drink Yain Esech Stam Yeinam. We shouldn't have kesher with the goyim. So that's why we pick up this cup of wine by the Seder, kosher wine, and we say V'hi, this wine that's kosher. Mishum Noisem, Chazal Mesaken, that we can't drink every wine. Mishum Noisem, that's what saved us from V'hisham de Lavisein Milano Shemchol Devader Omdi Wonen Chaliseinu, and that saved us from intermarriage. Before I start, I believe you want to know, that's what the notice says, how we make kosher wines in the French places. There's one who I decided this trip I want to bring up to the Olam. A lot of people have cleaning ladies coming to the house, and they have open bowls. So obviously the eitzah is to finish the bowls and never to leave any bowls open. That's the best eitzah. But this that person has an expensive wine, and then he doesn't want to finish it, or he doesn't like wine and he just uses his bakiddish. So he puts it in the fridge. And then, he knows he has to be careful. So he thinks that there's a heter called Yetzer V'nichnas. Yetzer V'nichnas means that if the barabosta is in the house and the cleaner is there, so we have a heter, so there's a heter from Yetzer V'nichnas. The problem is that many times it goes into a certain Seder, and every Sunday morning, or every Monday morning, the barabosta goes shopping. And then there's times where the goiter has no milsus anymore. She knows there's no one around anymore. So then there's no heter of Yetzer V'nichnas in such a case. Yetzer V'nichnas is only when the goiter has a pachat and a milsus from touching it. And it's also, that's halach, on a yain that was nisyachet, the goiter was nisyachet with the yain. It becomes also, we have to be choishes that she touched it. And that's even today that the Ramah says that we're going manam manasach. The heter of the Ramah is only b'di'evet. Even according to Bnei Ashkenaz, we have to assume that the goy wants to touch this wine to be manasach it. That's the gzeir Rabbanan. So the Monsey is as in Shulchan Aruch steht halacha. Just the dvar halacha to start before. Steht, Hoyu b'shuk chaviyos yain. If you have in the market different barrels of wine, v'nimtza goy beineim, and you find the goy in between all these chaviyos of yain. Imu goy chalash, if it's a shvacha goy, she'ema shofte ir olav, that the shoftim are afraid of him, that he is afraid of being taken to court. V'imim tzu nogea mitzvahs kiganav, and if we chap him touching it, he's going to be punished, he's going to be taken as a ganev, then it's mutar. Then we can rely that this milsus, this pachat that the guy has to have, that he's afraid that we're going to take him to court. the shach is moisif. What does it mean? Going to take him to court, and he has to know that if he touches the wine, he's mafsid the wine. So maybe he's afraid. He touches a barrel, he's going to be charged for it. The big problem is nowadays, I don't think that too many cleaning ladies are going to be afraid that you're going to take them to court. What are they going to do? Maximum she'll say, I'm sorry, you're not going to take it to court for one bottle of wine. There's no mises of Sheftei Eir. So Scheiner, we don't have such a heter anymore. We cannot rely on the fact that, you go in and out of there's no heter of Yetzer B'Nichnas. There's no mise, and you find him in between the Yiddish barrels. There, we have to assume that the guy wants to touch everything. He wants to be menasach. Only if we know that the guy is a guy that's afraid from Sheftei Eir, then as a guy we can assume that he is not going to touch the wine, and we can be matter the wine. But that's because that's a guy that has no shaykhis to the Yid. But the case that Kuf Chof Ches is talking about, the Yid and a guy that were drinking together, they had a pesach together, and they were sitting on the table. I don't know. It's a business meeting. I don't know whatever it was. So as a guy that the Yid has the shaykhis to him, there we can rely on the fact that the guy won't do something that's going to harm their relationship. And we made it that there the Mishnah says you can even rely on a wine that's on the side. Nafkamina, you have a goite in the house, you really have to weigh out the yachas, the relationship you have with this cleaning lady. Will she be afraid? Will it harm her relationship with her if she's new by you? Maybe she will touch. As I said before, the best is to finish the wine. The second option is to put chaysamas. Put chaysamas means you take the wine bottle, you seal it up, put paper tape one way and the other way. You'll see Mitzvah Shem how we do it in the plant. The same idea you can do at home. You take a paper tape one way like this, and then around. You take your outline and you put ICAs at the joint of the paper. That's 2 chaysamas, and you can put it in the fridge like that. The third option is to place it in a way that when you come back, you see it exactly the way it is. That means you are making a chocha that it wasn't touched. Chaysamas is made for when the proof is just going to be that the chaysam wasn't broken. But if you have a way of putting it, you're putting it behind 3 other jars of whatever, mayonnaise or something, in a way that it's clear that if the goiter would touch it, she wouldn't have to put it back in the same way. Then when you come back, you have a chocha that she didn't touch it. But when you put it into the fridge, you have to be aware that that's the ofen you put it in. This is just an akudat v'alocha. I think for some people it's important to know that it's not pashut b'chal to have open wines at home. Now, the sign says we're going to show you how we make kosher wines in a non-kosher factory. Oh, I wanted just to show this in 1 minute. To show you something. Sorry?
Security camera on the phone?
It's a security camera. She didn't know that she was being watched. Ich will nur sagen, dass darf wissen. Now, al pi halacha, she needs a second shot also. Okay. So just the Olam should remember the word. The kids are. Now, al pi halacha, we'll explain to it later. Maybe we're not mechuyev to be choishes that every cleaning lady is going to do such a zach. Aber it's a shaykh. Maybe we have to be careful. When we go to a goyshe place, the first thing we have to do, before even we kasher the place, before we'll seal up all the containers of wine, It's not halacha, Mishnah, Matai Yena Shel Akum, for those who learned the Mishnah is, that even if it's completely sealed, Mashgichim did everything, we kashed everything, we cannot rely on two chaysamas. Chazal said, Yain is one of the chomodige 4 things that needs 2 chaysamas. Chaysamas is something that the goy will be afraid of opening and touching, because he may not be able to put it back, and then you'll notice it. You'll notice that he touched the yain. It doesn't have to be something that's impossible for the goy to break. Every chosin, the goy could theoretically come with cameras, make pictures, and try and copy it and imitate it. But if you made something that has a certain level of difficulties, it's a chosin that's schwer to put back into the same shape, you're allowed to. The choris nishken edus, nishken chochem 100%. Pashtus, the vote is that the wine is becheskes kashrus. No, Chazal were choishish that the goy is going to want to be menasachet, he's going to want to touch the wine that belongs to the yid, either because of typhus nisuch or whatever, he's going to want to do it. Chazal said, these chaysamas, 2 chaysamas by yayin, is enough to take away the chashash that the goy will touch it. And the halacha is that you don't even have to check the chaysamas when you come back. As long as they look to you the same, it's fine. Only if you see a reisa, if you see that they're broken, then you have a problem. But you're not mechuyev to check and have a look, be'iyun, whether the chaysamas are there, because that's what Chazal said. The wine was kosher. We made chaysamas to take away what Chazal was choishes that he's going to want to touch it. So that's what you have to do at Pialocha. Abo, if we're talking about making a wine by the Goyshe winery, it's Yene Shel Akum, it belongs to him, and it's Birshusay, it's by him, it doesn't lie by you. When it's Yene Shel Akum and it's Birshusay Goy, the halacha is we cannot rely even on 2 chaysamas. So how do we make a wine by the Goyshe places? So in Shulchan Aruch, in Halacha, Gemara, there's different eitzes. The one which is practical is what we'll talk about, but there's eitzes if the goy pays the mashgichim, if he has hoitzi, if he spent expenses, he has expenses for the kosher wine, then we would say he wouldn't want to lose his expenses by touching his own wine. But that's not so realistic, because usually it's the hechsher that's hiring the mashgichim. It's not the goy that's going to pay the mashgichim. So maybe the goy, as far as he's concerned, it's his wine, it's still his, it's by him, he hasn't invested anything. So the eitzah is that we do, is we make what they call a shutfus with the goy. We make a contract with the goy, that we are shutfim and we buy from him, and we pay ahead of the production, we pay a few $1,000s, and we have a contract that we are shutfim. Those state in the poskim over here that if it's not Yene Shel Akum in 100%, it's a shutfus of a yid and a goy, then we can rely on chaysamas. How do you make the contract? So it's not enough just to put down a deposit, because a deposit doesn't mean you are a bailim in the zach. It just means that if you back out the contract, you lose your money. But that doesn't make a shutfus. More than that, even if we write in the contract that we are buying so and so this amount of barrels, so there's a kvega that says the same idea that the guy can come and say, okay, those are yours and those are mine, and he'll touch some of them. So it's not good enough to say that we have a chelik of the barrels. We have to be a shutuf in every single barrel. We have to make a contract that we are shutfim in every single container. We have 3%. That's good enough. But we are shutfim in every barrel. What's the Scheiner? The Scheiner is we do the contract with the winery before the wine is there. When he hasn't got the grapes yet. Some of the grapes he still has to buy them. So this contract doesn't chap b'chlal b'al pi Shulchan Aruch. The teretz is the poskim already say that we don't need a contract that's chal b'dineinu. All we need to do is a contract that the guy thinks that b'dineim it's teifes. That means you have to do a contract with a lawyer that b'dineim he thinks that it's valid and it's mechayev him and he sees it as a shutfus. The whole idea is to make it that the guy shouldn't want to touch the wine. So as long as we made a contract that we are shutfim and b'dineim, that would be chal. Ma'aseh shehoyo, one of the Scheiner, they made such a contract with the goy. But Ma'aseh, when there was a shortage of wine, and the guy gave away all the wine. The Ma'aseh, he gave away all the wine. The Mashgiach comes there and he says, wait, where's our wine? So the guy says, that's it, I gave it to my friend. So the Seicher took the guy to court in Holland. And the guy was Mezakeh the guy, versteht sich. Whatever, I don't know if it was Sheikh, I don't know where he was, but he was Mezakeh the guy. So the Rav there went to Rabbi Yashiv and asked Rabbi Yashiv, so what do we do today? We make a contract with the guy, and even b'dineim, we don't get through. So his health garnished. So the Ma'aseh Rabbi Yashiv said, as we don't have to be cautious that every guy is going to get through the mishpat. As a normal guy is still afraid, and he's not going to go to, he's going to be afraid of getting to court. Whatever happened to the Yena guy, maybe he gave sheikh. But a normal oifen, we can still make kosher wines by doing a contract of Hazar oifen, that we're shutfim in the yain, and mainly we have the heter that it's not called Matay Yena anymore, it's Yena or shutfim by the goy, so even though it lies by the goy, we can do that. It's not working? Oh, 1 second. Put that back in. The big clip. Let's put it down. Yeah, that one. Hope it opens. Open it. Okay. So when we go to French, when we go to one of those chateaus, people want French wines, they want Spanish wines, they want Goyish wines, they want all the different kinds of wines. You don't need the sound. We come to these Goyish places. We need to, chutz for the B'tayena, which is before we start making the wine, we need to kasher the place. We need to kasher the place. So we bring the group of mashgichim, and they have to kasher the place. What do we have to kasher? So this we have to know that the oifen that we kasher kelim from of yain. 1 second. Okay, the oifen that we kasher the kelim of the yain. So there's different types of kelim. There's klei kiyum, where we keep the wine in there. Those have a halacha that we have to kasher them. We call it a real achshara. But we have to know that it's not bichlal doime to the achshara that we have to do when a keli is treif from basar b'cholev. It has different gdorim. The Yad Yehuda already says that the gdorim of the achshara of yain nesech is completely different. There's a lot of rise to it. You can kasher klei cheres, something we cannot kasher by basar b'cholev batafes. We can kasher kli by yishun yud beis chodesh. When a kli of wine is left for 1 year, after 1 year, the yain nesech shaboy becomes mutter. Either it's blias over there in basar b'cholev. If you have blias, the kli can be as old as many years, but you still have to kasher it because it stays treif. It has blias inside. By yain, so nicht also yain chazal asad the yain as far as a form of yain when it's still with the lachluchis, but when it dried up completely, after a year you're matir it, even if it would maybe give even a taste, maybe it would give to the wine. We'll see. So when we arrive there, we have to kasher everything. Now this is the place where we're going to pour all the grapes when they arrive. This is not klei hakiyum. This is what they call klei agas. Klei agas means the kelim that are used kavua, steadily for the production of the wine. They need what the Gemara says, niguf. Niguf means they have to be scrubbed and cleaned thoroughly. And here, the Ma'aseh this, the Mashgichim go down and they pick every single chatzanim, what do you call it? Seeds, all the seeds, they take them out, even though it's basically impossible to clean completely. Same way as people try and clean their Kenwoods or their machines for Pesach or their toasters. Sometimes you can't clean it completely. But Baruch Hashem, the last sif in the Mechaber, gas, shedorach boy, hagoy, the press where the goy presses his grapes. Kshebo Yisrael lenagvo, when Israel comes to do a niguv, as I said, we only need a niguv, it's not like kiyum. Mechabdo kedarko ve'ein mechayvin oisel elaket hachatzanim. Mikradin, you're not even mechuyev to really go down and pick them all out. We're going to have there chatzanim that were maybe that would have a bit of yain esech. So the place can speak about it. I'm not interested in them. I don't need them, and it's not a shaila of vatal isur chatchila, because this is not what I'm looking for. Al kaponim in a matzah where you can't clean it. But obviously, the mashgichim go down and they clean it to the maximum they can, and then they use caustic acid to do the niguv. And we always receive the wineries nearly always, at the beginning of the harvesting time. We made it very, very clean, because the going from year to year, these machines are used only for 2-3 weeks a year by the harvesting time, and that's it. The whole year they're left. There's no use for them. There's no grapes. In America maybe there's two crops a year, but in Europe there's one season, B'chag, Botzir, Sukkot time. That's what we have. So the mashgichim go down and they clean it. So now, how do we kasher? So you can either kasher with milu v'irui, which is mikra adin, what you have to do, or
water?
Milu v'irui of water, yes. 3 times 24 hours, that's the eifim was stated in the halacha that you have to kasher klayayin. Here the mashgichim go inside these big tanks and they clean it thoroughly, and it's very hot. It comes out every now and again to take some fresh air. It can take them about 45 minutes inside there in this with boiling hot water. I was just like to finish before that. So the kashering milu v'irui, or usually just yud beis chodesh, which is another way. If you already have barrels for a long time, or from year to year you keep them, then you don't need to kasher them b'chlal. Or there's another oifen that sherim kasher is by what they call irui klirischen mechuber. That means it's not nifsek hakiluach. That be'etzem the shittas rishonim b'chlal that you're allowed to do klei yain, you can kasher with irui klirischen, even though normally achshor needs klirischen, not just irui klirischen. But Rabbi Nutam already in Tosfos says that klei yain you can kasher with irui klirischen, and even though the chatchila we kasher with mamish klirischen. But the poskim say that if it's a irui klirischen that's mechuber, that's steady from the hot from the guf chimum, what's being
the heating element.
The heating element. So mimele there, it's considered klirischen mamish, and we can also kasher that way al kolponim b'isum drabonim that they allow such a zach. Now in the harvesting, there's 2 types of harvesting. There is the harvesting that the goyim go and they pick. Obviously here there's no problem at all that the goyim pick the harvesting and pick the grapes. And then you have what they call machine harvesting. These are these machines, different types. Again, I always say I'm sorry, this is not Hollywood quality, but it's yeshivish enough for the olam to understand the ideas. It's different kind of harvesting machines that pick up all the grapes. Now, I don't know if the olam is into the sugis or not, but some of them are. There's a chumrah not to want to use, not to use. There's a certain chumrah that became popular in the last few years, not No, not Yud. When it's machine harvesting, the pouring of the machine in the field should be done by a mashgiach and not by the goy. Now this is by a misunderstanding. No, not a misunderstanding. I'll explain where it comes from. There's a Gemara that says that you're not allowed to allow the goy to bring the grapes to the press. And there's machlokes Scheiner why. The Ramban says that you're not allowed to let the goy bring the grapes to the gas, to the press, because he may touch yain shenimshach. He may come to actually touch wine that's nimshach min hagas. Wine al pi halacha, when is it the yain? Only when it's nimshach min hagas. That means when I'm pressing it to actually separate the juice from the zagim mechatzanim. So the Rabban says you mustn't allow. The Gemara says you shouldn't allow the goy to bring the grapes to the gas. I just want to finish that. So you shouldn't allow the goy to bring the anovim to the gas because he may touch yain shenimshach. The Rabbi says a different reason. He says because when you pour these big containers of grapes, you pour, there's also wine coming out. It's a shvicha, it's a pouring. Says the Rabbi, you have exeir of shvichas. Of shvicha, or he'll come to pour wine. Zok the Taz in Shulchan Aruch. An afkamina. What's an afkamina between the Ramban and the Ravid? Why if you have a pouring that precedes the gas? It's not by the gas. It's not the place of the press. It's earlier than that. Zok the Taz. If the Isud Rabbanon is Exeir Otu that you're going to touch Yain Shenimshach, so whatever is before the gas, there's no problem whatsoever. You can allow the goy to do everything. But if it's Exeir Shvicha Otu Shvichas Yain, says the Taz, we have to be choishish also to a Shvicha that's before the gas.
In the picture it looks like it's before.
It's before, it's in the field.
Before, yeah.
It's in the field. So Mimele is Azoy. Till, I don't know exactly how many years, Stimus Shulchan Aruch, the Goin, Chazon Ish, we proved it at Shulchan Aruch also, passing like the Ramban. And that's how most wines were done until, I don't know how many years ago, but no one was choishish that the mashgichim should be on the machinery by the pouring in the fields. Ach Shadore, and Baruch Hashem today, Oilam wants to be choishish to call Shittas HaRishonim, and we want to be choishish to Shittas HaRavid, and maybe you have a Chaim that will be makpid that there will be a mashgiach on that harvesting machine, and he'll be the one pressing the buttons to do that pouring. But again, it's a pouring of anovim. It's not because it's a hamshocha. It's not wine. Even if the guy would touch there wouldn't be a problem, because it's compote. It's grapes. And even though there is a pouring of grape that precedes of liquid that comes out before the grapes, the halacha is that hamshocha manas la'arev. That means I'm only pouring it, but I intend to put it all back together. That means I'm not really intending to separate at this stage the wine from the grapes. Das heißt nicht Kram Schoch. We don't have it. Meikar Adin, according to Ramban and Pashtus, until Achshador, that some Mechsherim want to be machmer to derive it. When you can, you do it. Then some Mechsherim will be makpid that there be a mashgiach on that harvesting machine doing the pouring, pressing the buttons. Again, this is the kind of job that Be'etzem the Goyim can do. It's grapes. They're just the mashgichim, they're taking away the leaves and the whatever schmutz that you find there. There's no problem, the Goyim should do it. Obviously when we can, we try and get the mashgichim to do the maximum that we can. The Taz says you should be marachik the Goyim wherever you can, but you have to know, as this is nicht, it's not wine, and there's no real problem when the Goy does those jobs. Okay, now we come to the press. press. This is the old machines, and this is the old gas. This is the old presses where you put the grapes in, you turn the machine, and over here, where you see, this is Mishanim Shechayayin, gas. Those who learned the Mishnah, that's where the yain starts being separated from the Zagim Chatzanim. This is the Heilige Kurkva. Okay, after we have pressed, I forgot to say that in the red wine, so it goes into the barrels, the chatchila, together with all the skins, because the color of the wine, the red of the wine, comes from the skins. In the red wines, it's pressed immediately and then put in without all the zagim chatzanim. There's all different kind of barrels. There's wood, metal, smaller ones, bigger ones. This is a grape juice one in Spain. It got 2 million liters, but it's kept kosher from year to year. Don't need to kasher it. That would be very hard to kasher 2 million liter. And then, as we said, obviously you have to do chisamas at every part of the containers. We make chisamas, there's tape, and we also write zwei oisies, which would for sure be a So this is the work of the mashgichim, obviously at the end of the day or during all the time, to seal up every single place. And then we can leave it. We have 2 chisamas, and as we said before, we're shutfim in the wine. So we can rely on 2 chisamas. This can take quite a long time at the end of a long day to make sure that everything is sealed up. And then after a year or 2, depending on each wine, eventually it goes into barrels. So this is a truck. This is most of these small places do not have their own facilities to fill up the barrels. They have a truck that comes. The truck is obviously, as we said before, it's clear gas, but it doesn't need hachshor, it only needs a niguv. The trucks arrive clean, obviously, because every night they are completely sterilized and shouldn't be any cross contamination from one kind to another or anything. So they come in the morning with certificates that have been cleaned thoroughly. Obviously, we again do another cleaning with caustic soda, acid. That should be again nochamal aniguv that we did, even though pialoche we get the contracts, the certificates that's been cleaned every night. But Lemaisa, that's the Seder Advorim, and the Mashgichim make through the whole system again, nochamal caustic soda, caustic acid, and then eventually it's being filled up. Now this is just putting the bottles on the machine. The guy can do, obviously, it's empty bottles, there's no problem the guy doing that part of the job. Obviously all the machinery, everything, the Yid has to press all the buttons. He's not allowed to touch anything. These are the bigger bottles, magnums. bigger places. It's grape juice actually. It's in Spain. That's very big. But this machines so that the bottles get washed and cleaned and dried, and then the grape juice.
In the process between wine and grape juice.
Sorry?
What's the difference in the process between
The process is that when it's grape juice, you stop the fermentation when it's still sweet.
How they make the difference between to make it to a grape juice to a wine?
Sorry?
What they do different in order to make
You stop the fermentation.
Or you stop it and then it's
If the wine, the sugar turns into alcohol, but you can stop it beforehand. So you stop it and you keep it with sulfites, usually to stop the fermentation, and then you bottle it as sweet, and it's not. So, quicker. Only from a Yidden. Kedem wine is the best, better than this, because you don't need no kashering. Whenever we kasher a place, we have to daven. That should be done right. My father, Zichron Levracha, was a Talmud from Abhenach Padva, and Abhenach Padva used to say that kasher has to do everything lechatchila, and then hope that the B'diavad is kosher. So we have to do everything lechatchila, but kashering is still nachayis, so we have to hope that we're doing it right. Kedem do not need to kasher anything. Everything is kosher all year, and all the kelim are new lechatchila, so they don't need to kasher. They were never with goyish wines. We come to places where Baruch Hashem, many places we keep the same barrels from year to year, but there are times when you have to kasher something. And Kedem has a mila that we don't have. That's not Israeli wine. That you don't have to go into the shaila of mitzvah tluim ba'aretz. So I advise people to take Kedem wine. Now this is the mashgichim are out there in Zman HaBotzir, so they make themselves sukkahs. Some of their potter from sukkah, the chidrochim, but they still decide to build themselves different kind of sukkahs. Don't take a chayes, not for the kashas of it, not for the mechuyev or not. I'll put it.
You did Rosh Hashanah Kippur also?
Not on Rosh Hashanah Kippur, but they have to sometime leave Monsey Yom Kippur, drive 6 hours from wherever they are down to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. Or Monsey Rosh Hashanah, tiny Tzom Gedalia. Because the Goy decides when he wants the winery to be done, and that's when we have to be there. We have to have a whole group of mashgichim that come there on time, whenever the guy calls. I believe the Olam wants to hear a bit about Yain Mevushel. It's one of the sugyas. Steam? No, nobody kashes with steam. It's water. Steam, water. Water, mechubar leish. Mevushel. The Olam usually wants to know what, if anyone else has other questions. But Mevushel is usually the sugya that everyone wants to hear about. People think that when he says on the Baal Mevushel or Mefustar at 89 degrees Celsius, then it's not mamish boiled because it's not 100. And that's a mistake, because 100 Celsius is for water, but for alcohol, wine has the alcohol, and the boiling point is lower, is by 80 usually. Nishno then, but water is also not 100. But water is depending on the air pressure. If you go up onto the Mount Everest or whatever, one of these mountains, you try and boil up water over there, it'll be much lower. It'll be at 90 degrees Celsius. So there's no such a sheer be'etzem of 100, and even, and mimele by yain, from our experience, all wine comes to boiling point by 80 degrees or so, 79 even. So when he says 89 degrees, it's boiled. It came to what the Shulchan Aruch says, Mishiale Ritzichas. Where is the Shaila about Yain Mevushal? The Shaila is that in the Rishonim there's a various shittas when they explain why Chazal will not go on Yain Mevushal. Either because it became the bishul, ruins the taste of it, and the Rishonim say as well that it's mismayet, that you boil it till it's mismayet, so it has lost a bit of its quantity also, changes the taste. Or the Rosh says because it's mitzvah shchiach, different shittas in the Rishonim. From there come some Rishonim that they make a chilek if they write mevushal or mefustar. Why? Because pistur, pasteurization, is a closed circuit, and there's no evaporation, there's no ismayet. So some poskim will say if everything is kept in the same system and there's no actual nismayet, there's no evaporation at all in this bishul, then you are not yotzer what Chazal said that you have to do for the bishul, according to those Rishonim that say that that's what you need to do. So some Rishonim will make a chilek and they'll write mefustar, and they won't write mevushal. Others will write mevushal at 89 degrees. They're basically telling you that's what we're doing. We're cooking it at 89 degrees, and it's a pistur because it's and they're not getting involved into those shaylas. But the Cheshayim, some of them will make a difference maybe between whether it's pasteurization that actually has part of it that evaporates, or some of them will ask that the machine should have a valve that opens up. There should be an ismayet. There should be an evaporation, and then they'll call it mevushal, and they won't call the other one mevushal. Or you have Rabbi Yashiv that holds the Rosh. The Rosh says that yain is mitzvah lo shchiach. Chazal will not go on such a wine because it's a shvacha wine. It's a mitzvah lo shchiach. So Rabbi Yashiv writes, if today became mitzvah shchiach, so you can't use it anymore. On that, one can argue. Others argued with Rabbi Yashiv that it's not called mitzvah, didn't become mitzvah shchiach. It's still a miut of wines of mevushal, of all the wines of mevushal. The fact that we order and we ask them and beg them to make certain ones mevushal for us, and most of them don't agree b'chal, and even the ones who do, the pshat is we decided we have to do a bishul for our market, for our oilam, because we have a problem with the way it is. But the Ma'aseh, others hold that's not called that they became mitzvah shchiach. We still have the heter. You always have people who want to be choishes to all the shittas of Yishayim. I think in Chutzlaretz al Kaparim Asoymech on the fact that wine that's pasteurized or is called mevushal. That's a soul. The oilam is a little bit more machmir about these inyonim. I want to noch a nekuda. We spoke at the beginning about the yichud of the goy with the wines, but then you have another whole set of halachas, which is not a question of yichud, which is a question of when the goy moves or touches the wine barrels. It's nothing to do with yichud. That's got to do with halachas, what the goy actually did. For example, the goy the waiter moved the bowl. So first of all, people have to know that if there's a lid on it, a cork, even if it's an open bowl, but the cork is back on, there's no problem whatsoever if it's being moved, because the halacha is it's ein derech nisuch b'kach. Like Baruch says, there's no derech nisuch in a wine that's in a closed. I don't mean sealed, just closed container. Ein derech nisuch b'kach. There's no problem if the guy moved it. The problem is only if it's completely open. Now, even if it's completely open, if the guy moves it very slowly, I said benachas, you know for sure, you consider that benachas, mekiadin, the wine doesn't become awesome. If he moves it b'shichshuch, in an oifen that it's not benachas, then you have a problem that the yain becomes asa. According to Bnei Ashkenaz, maybe only also b'shtir, not b'hanoy. According to his father, becomes also b'hanoy. It's different dagas of Isurim, but that's a different shayla. You have to know what the goyim actually do. I always say it could be, it depends if it's Israeli waiters or Chutzlarzike waiters, depending on how it does, but you have to be careful about it. Any questions or?
That's why if you're allowed to drink wine that's mevushal, if the guy touched it, because a guy wouldn't use it for Avodah Zarah.
Correct.
And the reason why they wouldn't use it for Avodah Zarah is because they ruin the taste.
Correct.
It's not as ruined. The taste cooks out. It does not have as strong of a taste, really.
Could be.
Right.
Could be.
And then that tastes disgusting. It says you don't taste it as much.
Could be.
That's right.
I didn't taste both, but it could be.
I've tasted both.
Yeah.
That's why we're meant to use the non-mevushal, but I say that because of the taste.
Is non-mevushal pashtus?
No. When you say on a wine not mevushal, then pashtus has got nothing. It's not mevushal and not.
Like kedem. Like the non-mevushal.
Nothing happens to it.
Pasteurization, right?
No.
Like the non-mevushal kedem, for example. According to one shita, it's considered mevushal, even though most of the other shita say it's not. Depends on what the temperature is. Which 89 Celsius is about 192 Fahrenheit.
So, if it came to boiling point, then al pi halacha it's called a mevushal. If it didn't come to the point of the daga that we need, then it's not mevushal. You have to know what.
Hey, which basically the shirish is bishal.
What?
How do they make it taste the same as when pasteurized?
How do they make it taste the same?
The non-mevushal.
Nachamor. How do the non-mevushal?
So it's not heated up. So it's not uniform. It's probably different grapes. Probably going to be.
You're asking how they make it that the grape juice should always be the same taste. From what I was told, I don't know, Yechi. From what I was told, I think once how they make the taste, they should always be the same, is because whenever they have a sweet, a crop that's sweeter than usual, they'll make a concentrate from it, and that's what they use every year to adjust the taste of the grape. Accompanied by the Kedem grape juice.
Concentration, that includes
Yeah, but it's grape juice. It's just concentrated grape juice. So they'll add a bit. If one year the grapes are a little more sour than usual, they'll add in from the sweet concentrate to get it to the right taste.
Not putting any other water.
No.
It's just from.
Yeah, I'm talking about adding in concentrate.
If it comes too sweet, they're not adding water.
Sorry?
If it comes too sweet, they're not adding water.
As far as I know, there's no real chashash of water. What?
Blending the right grapes.
Yeah, you blend the right type of Amora crop is sweeter than the other, so they taste it all, and they put them together to make sure that it should be the same taste every year.
I think there's other places where myelin is not mevushal.
It's not Hilchus Yain Nesach Scheiner, but I think there's a mile maybe.
How do you clean the bottle of the plant?
The machine cleans it, and dries it.
The bottling company has to agree also that it's not the same winery, right? It's a little bit different.
But you get the bottles clean. What do you mean? You get a chatchila?
When you take it from the truck, you take it and goes from the truck direct into the bottle. Yeah.
Ich verstehe the Scheiner. What's that? It's always new bottles.
No, the line, the bottling line.
The line. Versteht sich? We have to
It's a different. You have to clean in that factory also.
the trucks, all the pipes, everything has to be cleaned. Versteht sich?
No, because he said it's a different company.
No, the truck arrives and it's clean, and we make another cleaning of the truck and all the pipes of the system. Versteht sich?
The guy in that, there's difference in not religious Jew versus a goy.
Yes, for sure. First of all, non-religious, you have to know what level of Mechal Shabbos, what level of Mumah. If it's non-religious that would still respect not to be Mechal Shabbos in front of a Rav or in front of 10 people, then it's not. Mechal Shabbos has to be a real Mechal Shabbos that will do it in front of his Rav, in front of 10 people.
It's not lahak, it's Tinnik Shenish, but someone who grew up with it.
Tinnik Shenish, but is machlekes today, whether, again, many person will tell you that it's Peseder, that's not called the goy that the Yisrael Mumah, the Chazal where goys are on. But Yisrael Mumah, there's no Mishum Neisem. You're allowed to marry his daughter if she's a good girl. There's no Mishum Neisem on Yisrael Mumah. But Chazal where goys are on a Mumah, they should be like a goy. And the din should be that if he touches the wine, it's awesome. But it's it has a certain level of mumma. Not every yid that's not from yet. בסדר?